of this upstream sector following extensive policy reforms and improved governance. Lokwabere said that 4 of the 7 major final investment decisions in Africa between 2024 and 2025 were made in Nigeria, underscoring the nation's renewed status as a preferred destination for energy capital. The development comes amid efforts to revitalize production, attract foreign investors, and expand oil output, even as the government continues to implement regulatory and fiscal measures designed to sustain growth in the energy sector. And finally, on business news roundup, the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria (CIBN) commended Abia State Governor Alex Oti for the state's strong economic performance, highlighting a 10% GDP growth and an 8% reduction in poverty under his leadership. CIBN President Professor Pius Olarinwaju, speaking during a courtesy visit to the governor, also noted the attraction of significant investment and creation of over 10,000 jobs as key achievement. He praised improvements in social services, including health care delivery. Olarinwaju described the progress as notable economic milestones and acknowledged the governor's commitment to purposeful governance, urging deeper collaboration between the CIBN and the Abia State government on financial inclusion and literacy initiatives. Governor Oti reaffirmed his focus on sustainable development and strengthened partnership to build on these gains. We'll take another break, and when we come back, it will be following news roundup. Now let's move to foreign news roundup, where on Tuesday, US President Donald Trump escalated his long-running dispute with Harvard University by publicly demanding $1 billion in damages, accusing the Ivy League institution of failing to protect Jewish students and promoting woke ideology amid pro-Palestinian campus protests. Trump made the announcement on his Truth Social platform, stating his administration now wanted nothing further to do with Harvard after negotiations reportedly stalled and discussions of a previous settlement fell apart. The move represents a sharp intensification of tension between the White House and Harvard following earlier legal battles over federal funding and allegations of anti-Semitism and policy disputes. Critics argue the demand is part of a broader pressure on the elite's claims of widespread voter fraud and continues to refuse to acknowledge its 2020 elections defeat. His remarks have sparked alarm among Democrats and constitutional scholars who say the proposal directly conflicts with the U.S. Constitution's allocation of election authority to state government. Critics warn that Trump's push could undermine confidence in U.S. elections as the country heads into the 2026 midterm elections, where some civil rights groups calling it a threat to democracy itself. Trump's campaign for nationalized voting comes amid broader legal and political dispute over election integrity, including lawsuits over voters' records and controversial FBI action in states like Georgia. Opponents argue the push would erode the established decentralized system of election administration and could deepen political tensions nationwide. Finally, on Friday, we brought you a report that Israeli President Isaac Herzog arrived in Australia to pay tribute to victims of the deadly anti-Semitic mass shooting at Sandy's Bondi Beach, where gunmen killed 15 people during Hanukkah celebration in December. Invited by Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, Herzog's 4-day visit is aimed at expressing solidarity with Jewish communities and meeting survivors and families affected by the attack, the worst of its kind in the nation's history. While many Jewish leaders have welcomed Herzog's trip, significant protests are expected from pro-Palestinian groups and other activists who oppose the invitation amid broader tensions over the Israel-Gaza conflict. Australian authorities have ramped up security, including heavy police deployment, and protest restrictions to manage demonstration and ensure public safety during the president's visit. And up next is Sports Roundup. We'll be right back.
Hello and welcome to Sports News Roundup on Biscon Television. On Monday, we shared the story that Carlos Alcaraz completed a career Grand Slam after defeating Novak Djokovic in a thrilling Australian Open final in Melbourne. The 22-year-old Spaniard recovered from a slow start to claim a 2-6, 6-2, 6-3, 7-5 victory and immediately collapsed to the court in celebration. Despite the defeat, Djokovic showed great sportsmanship by crossing the net to congratulate Alcaraz as his wait for a record 25th Grand Slam title continues. The Serbian great later hinted that this could be his final appearance in Melbourne. World number 1 Alcaraz becomes the youngest man in history to win all 4 Grand Slam titles and only the 9th player overall to achieve the feat. Now on Tuesday, we brought you the news that Leicester City have completed the loan signing of Nigerian midfielder Joe Aribo from Southampton until the end of the 2025-26 season. The Championship club is looking to strengthen its squad amid injury setbacks and push for improved results. The 29-year-old arrives at the King Power Stadium with vast experience in both the Premier League and Championship, having featured 111 high-level involvements. And then on Thursday, we reported that Super Eagles goalkeeper Stanley Nwabali has left South African Premier Division side Chippa United after formally submitting a transfer request. The Port Elizabeth-based club confirmed his departure in a statement, thanking the 29-year-old for his service and professionalism during his time at the club. Nwabali, who joined the club from Katsina United in 2022 and made more than 90 appearances, has not yet announced his next destination. His exit is expected to attract interest across the transfer market as he prepares for the next phase of his career. And finally, on Friday, we told you that Ademola Lookman made a dream start to life at Atletico Madrid, scoring a goal and providing an assist in a dominant 5-0 win over Real Betis in the Copa del Rey quarter-finals. The Nigerian forward, who completed his move from Atalanta earlier in the week, was handed a starting role by Diego Simeone and made an immediate impact. Lookman struck Atletico's third goal in the 37th minute following a swift counter-attack before setting up Antoine Griezmann for the fourth after the break. David Hanko and Giuliano Simeone scored the opening goals while Thiago Almada completed the route later. And that completes our sports news roundup for this week. Many thanks for watching.
And finally, on Entertainment News Roundup, on Monday, we reported that senior pastor of David Christian Center, Kingsley Okonkwo, publicly defended his decision to get a Bible-inspired tattoo with the scripture John 3:16 rendered in Roman numerals on his arm, saying it was intended as a creative tool to spread the gospel rather than a fashion statement. Unveiled in a video on his Instagram to mark his 50th birthday, the tattoo sparked immediate online debate, with supporters praising the bold gesture while critics questioned whether a pastor should have a tattoo at all. Okonkwo responded on social media, arguing that while many focus on judging the tattoo, the message of the gospel had been shared widely, reaching millions online within 24 hours through blogs and social platforms, amplifying Christian teachings beyond his congregation. He urged critics to stay calm and said he would speak more fully on the subject during upcoming church programming, framing the discussion as part of broader conversation about innovative evangelism and personal expressions. On Tuesday, popular Nigerian media personality James Brown publicly announced a renewed focus on spirituality, saying his experiences with fame have prompted a deeper religious commitment. In an Instagram post, Brown explained that a series of dreams convinced him that being widely known carries spiritual implications and urged him to return fully to church for spiritual covering. He was seen receiving prayers in a white garment church as part of his personal spiritual journey. Brown's decision has stirred mixed reactions online, with some applauding his move towards spiritual growth, while others question aspects of his approach and church appearances. Videos of him in church, including footage showing him in an attire typically worn by women for worship, have fueled discussion and controversy among members of religious communities and social media users alike. Still on entertainment news roundup on Thursday, we reported that popular Nollywood comic actress Ajara Lasisi, widely known as Auntie Ajara, died after battling a prolonged illness. Her passing in the early hours of Thursday was confirmed by her elder brother Ridwan Lasisi, who announced the news in a video shared online, thanking fans and well-wishers for their support during her illness. Auntie Ajara became a much-loved figure in the Yoruba film industry for her humorous and dramatic roles. Tributes have poured in from colleagues and fans when la laws as the family appealed for an end to further financial contributions for her treatment following her death. And that's it for now on the Biscon TV News Roundup. The News Roundup was compiled and produced by Victoria Adekoya. I'm Emmanuel. And thanks for watching.
The grand finale of the historic 50th anniversary of Oyo State, an epoch-making celebration that has stirred joy, pride, and statewide jubilation through a rich tapestry of activities spanning over a week, finally reached its majestic climax in breathtaking fashion at Oyo State Government House on Tuesday, February 3rd, 2026, delivering a night of splendor, culture, elegance, and unforgettable festivity. Adding further prestige to the moment, the elegant governor of Oyo State, His Excellency Engineer Seyi Makinde, arrived in grand style, warmly exchanging pleasantries and basking in a celebratory ambience. He was joined by distinguished members of the Oyo State Executive Council, revered royal fathers, former governors, heads of agencies, service commanders, respected members of the learned skills comprising serving and retired judges, diplomats, and a host of other eminent personalities, all united in honor of Oyo State's golden milestone. Against the backdrop of a serene open space within the venue, guests were treated to breathtaking aerial displays featuring stunt flying, daring loops, graceful rolls, and synchronized formation flying. A perfect blend of nature, technology, and human ingenuity that added a rare dimension of wonder to the celebration. Following the exhilarating air show, attention shifted to the main event at a regally adorned marquee within the Oyo State Government House, which was transformed into a palace of elegance befitting the golden jubilee of a great state. The governor, His Excellency Engineer Seyi Makinde, alongside his wife, Her Excellency Engineer Mrs. Tamuno Minini Makinde, once again led a distinguished assembly of eminent personalities from across Nigeria and beyond into the Grand Hall. Among the distinguished guests in attendance were His Excellency Alhaji Abdurrahman Abdurazak, Governor of Kwara State, Mr. Udom Emmanuel, former Governor of Akwa Ibom State, the Olubadan of Ibadan Land, His Imperial Majesty, Oba Dr. Senator Rashidi Adewolu Ladoja, Olori Folashade Ogunwusi, representing the Ooni of Ife, His Imperial Majesty, Oba Dr. Adeyeye Enitan Ogunwusi, the Deputy Governor of Oyo State, Barrister Bayo Lawal, and his wife, Chief Lucky Benedion, former Governor of Edo State, Chief Olabode George, former Military Administrator of Ondo State.